Plato's ideas about women stand apart from many views common in ancient Greece. In a time when women were mostly seen as caretakers and confined to the home, Plato argued that women could perform the same roles as men in the state, including leadership, defense, and philosophy. In the Republic, he imagines a society where the best among women can become rulers or guardians, trained and tested just like men. For him, the soul's capacity does not depend on the body's sex. He wrote that the same qualities that make a good guardian, courage, wisdom, and strength, can be found in women as well as men. Therefore, limiting women's roles based on gender was a mistake. This view sharply contrasted with the dominant attitudes of the time. Most Greek thinkers and society placed women in a lower status. They were often excluded from politics, philosophy, and public life. Women were generally expected to focus on household duties and raising children. The law, customs, and cultural norms reinforced these boundaries. Plato challenged these restrictions by suggesting the potential for women to contribute equally to the common good. He argued that what matters most is the soul and its qualities, not the physical differences between men and women. In the Republic, he states that the difference in physical strength does not justify denying women the chance to participate in the life of the city. Women, he wrote, must be given the same education and opportunities to develop their abilities. He described this as a form of justice and social harmony. Despite this, it's important to understand Plato's idea of equality was not exactly what we think of today. His equality was based on function and ability, not on identity or personal freedom. Women could hold important positions only if they showed the right qualities. His view still placed limits on women's roles and did not claim full social or political equality as modern feminism demands. Some scholars argue Plato was more focused on the ideal structure of the state than on advancing women's rights as an end in itself. There are contradictions in his writings. While promoting women's intellectual capacity, Plato also maintained traditional views about gender differences in some areas. For example, in Laws, a later dialogue, he returns to a more conservative stance on women's roles and behavior. He recommended that women should still focus largely on family and avoid public political life, reflecting the persistent influence of the culture around him. In Plato's ideal state, women who are capable and trained can become guardians and leaders, serving alongside men. This was a radical suggestion, considering that even male citizens often doubted women's abilities. His proposal called for rigorous education and shared responsibilities regardless of gender. The goal was to ensure the city's welfare and justice through the best possible rulers and defenders. Plato's arguments about women reveal his belief in the soul's priority over the body. He separated the person's intellectual and moral qualities from physical differences. This challenged assumptions about women's inferiority based on their bodies. At the same time, his ideas remained rooted in the goal of social order and the common good, rather than individual freedom or equality as a right. Though not a feminist in the modern sense, Plato's writings opened the door for discussions on gender roles and intellectual equality. They invite us to reconsider long-held beliefs and to ask whether abilities should be judged by nature or nurture. His vision asks what justice looks like when everyone, regardless of gender, is given a chance to contribute according to their talents. This idea still resonates today, as societies debate the balance between tradition and equality, ability and opportunity. In Plato's philosophy, love is not just a feeling but a powerful force that drives us towards something greater. In the Symposium, a dialogue where different voices discuss the nature of love, Eros is introduced as more than simple attraction. It is a kind of desire that begins with physical beauty but can lead to an understanding of deeper truths. The conversation explains that love starts with the admiration of a particular body, but it doesn't stop there. It can rise, step by step, from the love of one body to the love of all beautiful bodies, then to the beauty of souls, and finally to the love of wisdom and truth itself. This progression is often called the ladder of love. At the bottom is physical desire, the immediate attraction to someone's appearance. But as one moves up the ladder, the focus shifts from the body to the mind, from particular instances to universal qualities. The higher stage is the love of pure form or beauty, which is eternal and unchanging. It is not about what we can see or touch, but about understanding what is real and true beneath the surface. In this way, love becomes a pursuit of the divine, an effort to grasp something beyond our everyday experience. Women play a special role in this vision. They are seen as muses, sources of inspiration that help guide lovers toward higher knowledge. Their beauty is not just physical, but symbolic of deeper ideals. They represent the bridge between the material world and the realm of forms, the perfect, abstract versions of all things. Through desire, people are reminded of these ideals and motivated to seek them. Love, then, is not simply about possession or pleasure, but about growth and learning. Plato's idea of anamnesis is central here. It means remembering. According to him, the soul is immortal and has seen the perfect forms before birth. Love awakens this memory, allowing us to recall what true beauty and goodness are. Desire calls us back to these eternal truths. It is through love that the soul remembers its origin and moves toward becoming whole. Yet, desire has a double nature. It can push us to develop, to seek wisdom and the good, but it can also trap us in illusions. Physical attraction may bind us to fleeting appearances and false images, distracting from the pursuit of real knowledge. The paradox is that desire both inspires progress and can cause confusion. It depends on how it is directed. If focused on surface beauty, it keeps us tied to temporary things. If aimed at the eternal forms, it lifts us toward understanding. In this framework, love is a journey. It begins with what we see and feel, but should lead us beyond the visible world to the invisible truths. Women, desire, and beauty serve as starting points on this path, not the final destination. Plato's philosophy asks us to consider how love shapes our thoughts and actions, whether it binds us to illusions or frees us to seek higher realities. This complex view invites reflection on the purpose of desire and the role it plays in the search for meaning. Plato used the word illusion to describe things that seem real, but are actually shadows of the truth. In his philosophy, the physical world we experience is not the full reality, but a copy of a higher, perfect realm. This idea means that what we see and touch may deceive us because it only reflects a small part of what truly exists. Beauty, especially physical beauty, falls into this category. It can attract us, capture our attention, and seem important, but it is often a surface appearance, not the essence itself. Women and beauty in Plato's thinking stand between reality and illusion. On one hand, beauty is real because it points to the perfect form of beauty that exists beyond the material world. Women, as embodiments of beauty, represent a connection to that higher truth. On the other hand, physical attractiveness can mislead us. It is only a reflection, something temporary and changeable. If we stop at appearances, we risk mistaking the shadow for the actual thing. Plato's allegory of the cave helps explain this. Imagine people chained inside a dark cave, seeing only shadows on a wall. These shadows are all they know. They believe the shadows are real, not understanding that there is a world outside the cave with actual objects casting those shadows. The allegory applies to love and desire because many people fall in love with shadows, the physical beauty they see, without realizing there is a deeper reality beyond it. Beauty acts as both a gateway and a barrier. It invites us to seek truth but also hides it by focusing attention on the superficial. This dual role means that appearances can both guide and fool us. We might admire beauty and think we understand something real, when in fact we are only looking at a reflection. This is why Plato warns against trusting senses alone. To see beyond the physical, we must train ourselves to recognize the forms behind the images. This requires reason and philosophy, a way of thinking that goes past the obvious to grasp the essence. When we look at a beautiful face, we should ask what beauty means beyond the shape or color. What qualities does it represent? What truth lies beneath? Plato teaches that real connection is not about outward charm or temporary pleasure. True love and desire reach the soul, linking us to eternal forms like justice, goodness, and beauty itself. Distinguishing genuine bond from surface attraction means focusing on qualities that last, not those that fade. It is a call to seek depth in relationships and values. In this view, love starts with what we see, but must rise to what we understand. It asks us to question how much of our attraction is shaped by illusions and how much reflects truth. The path to real connection involves moving beyond the senses toward insight and wisdom. Plato's philosophy invites us to challenge appearances and pursue what is constant, unchanging, and real beneath the ever-shifting world of looks and desire. In Plato's writings, women appear in different roles, each serving a unique purpose in his vision of society and philosophy. One figure is the philosopher woman, an individual capable of reasoning, learning, and leading. She represents the mind's ability to grasp truth, just like her male counterparts. Plato argued that women who possess the right qualities should be trained and allowed to rule as guardians of the state. This was a bold claim at a time when intellectual roles were mostly reserved for men. The philosopher woman embodies knowledge and wisdom, showing that gender does not limit one's capacity to understand or govern. Another figure is the muse. In ancient Greece, muses were goddesses who inspired artists, poets, and thinkers. Plato often used this image to describe women as sources of beauty and inspiration, guiding men toward higher ideas. Women as muses are connected to creativity and the spark that drives the search for truth and meaning. They represent the initial motivation for seeking something beyond the physical world, stirring desire that moves the soul upward. There is also the idea of the guardian woman, which appears most clearly in the Republic. These women share the responsibilities of protecting the city and maintaining justice. They are trained in the same disciplines as men and expected to demonstrate strength, courage, and discipline. This archetype challenges the traditional view of women as weak or limited to domestic duties. Instead, the guardian woman is active, engaged, and essential to social order. Plato's depiction of women draws on mythological stories familiar to his audience. Goddesses like Athena, known for wisdom and warfare, and heroines from Greek myths appear as models of female power and virtue. These figures symbolize qualities Plato admired and thought necessary for a just society. By referencing these myths, he connected his ideas to cultural symbols that carried meaning and authority. Women were not just ordinary citizens, but participants in a larger cosmic order. In this way, women are portrayed as creators of wisdom and balance. Their roles go beyond family and reproduction. They contribute to the harmony of the state and the pursuit of truth. Plato's vision places women at the center of social and moral development, emphasizing their importance for maintaining order and justice. They are seen as complementary to men, each fulfilling roles necessary for the whole community. These archetypes continue to influence how femininity and gender roles are understood today. The tension between the ideal and the real woman in Plato's philosophy reflects ongoing debates about expectations and limitations placed on women. The philosopher woman challenges restrictions, calling for intellectual equality. The muse celebrates inspiration, but can also confine women to being objects of admiration. The guardian woman breaks traditional roles but still functions within a structured social order. This tension reveals the complexity of Plato's thought. He both pushes against and accepts certain cultural norms, creating a space where women can be powerful but within defined limits. His ideas invite reflection on how society balances ideals with realities and how roles assigned to women shape both individual identity and collective life. Through these different figures, Plato shows that women can embody knowledge, inspiration, and strength. His work challenges us to reconsider assumptions about gender and the possibilities for women in philosophy and politics. At the same time, it warns us about the ways ideals can sometimes restrict rather than free. This dynamic remains relevant as conversations about femininity and equality continue across history and cultures. Plato's views on women and love continue to spark discussion in modern times, often stirring both agreement and disagreement. His claim that women could be rulers and guardians challenges many traditional beliefs still present today. In some ways, his ideas resonate with efforts to promote equality and recognize intellectual ability regardless of gender. Yet other aspects of his philosophy appear limited or outdated when viewed through modern gender politics. Some critics point out that while Plato proposed equality in function, he did not fully support equal rights or social freedom for women as we understand them now. His vision was shaped by the needs of the ideal state, not by individual liberties. Feminist thinkers have both criticized and defended Plato. Some argue his ideas fall short because they still accept the cultural norms that restrict women's roles outside the state's interests. Others highlight that Plato's emphasis on intellectual capacity and shared roles was revolutionary for his time and laid groundwork for later conversations about gender equality. His focus on the soul over the body challenges the notion that physical differences should determine one's status or potential. This idea inspires those who seek to move beyond stereotypes and rigid roles. When it comes to love and desire, Plato's philosophy remains relevant. His distinction between physical attraction and a deeper intellectual love offers a framework for understanding modern relationships. Many today recognize that attraction often begins with appearance, but real connection depends on shared values, understanding, and growth. The ladder of love, from bodily desire to the appreciation of eternal qualities, can be seen in how people seek meaningful partnerships beyond surface level. Plato's ideas remind us to look past immediate gratification towards something lasting. His vision encourages questioning how much of attraction is shaped by social expectations or illusions. It suggests that true connection involves recognizing the other's inner qualities, not just external beauty or charm. This perspective challenges shallow or purely physical approaches to relationships, urging a focus on what lasts and matters deeply. Plato's influence can be traced in literature, philosophy, and popular culture. Stories of muses inspiring creators or characters searching for ideal love beyond appearances echo his themes. Philosophers after him debated the nature of desire and the soul, often referring back to his concepts. Even today, terms like platonic love shape how people think about relationships that are non-romantic but deeply meaningful. Films, novels, and art explore similar ideas: how desire can lead to wisdom or illusion, how beauty can both attract and mislead. These reflections show that Plato's work is more than ancient thought. It continues to engage with questions about gender, love, and human connection. His ideas offer tools to examine what we value and why, pushing us to reconsider stereotypes and explore deeper truths. The debates around his philosophy reveal ongoing struggles to balance tradition and progress, appearance and reality, roles and individuality. This lasting dialogue shows that Plato's vision still speaks to the complexities of modern life. Plato's ideas about women, love, and desire don't fit into simple categories. His views resist easy labels or quick judgments. He offered thoughts that were radical for his time, suggesting women could govern and think deeply. Yet, his vision also had limits, tied to the social realities of ancient Greece. His philosophy blends idealism with practical concerns, showing us a picture that is complex and often contradictory. The truth he presented is layered, not straightforward. It pushes us to think carefully, beyond what we might expect. This invites us to question what we believe about women, about love, and about desire. How often do we accept the surface story without probing what lies beneath? Plato challenges us to look deeper, to see beyond appearances and the roles society assigns. His work encourages us to rethink assumptions that might feel natural but are shaped by culture and history. It reminds us that love and gender are not fixed or simple. They are subjects for ongoing exploration. What makes Plato's search timeless is his focus on truth beyond illusion. He shows that beauty, desire, and connection have both light and shadow. They can inspire growth or create confusion. His philosophy asks us to recognize this dual nature and to strive toward what lasts, what is real, beyond passing images. The questions he raises about the soul, about equality, and about love remain relevant. They cross centuries to challenge us today. So here is a question to carry forward. How can we see beyond our own illusions about love and gender in the world we live in now? What steps can we take to move past appearances and understand each other more deeply? These are not easy answers, but they are necessary ones. If this video made you think, consider liking and subscribing to join more discussions like this. Share your thoughts in the comments. What do you believe about Plato's views, and how do they speak to your experience? Sharing this conversation helps us all learn and grow. Together, we can explore these timeless questions and seek truth beyond the surface. Another lesson to ponder on. Thank you for following us on today's teaching. Kindly subscribe if you like this kind of content. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.